All right, so you hear about the Opium Wars? Yeah, that's right. Opium Wars. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about a little bit of stuff going down in China. That's right, in modern China. We're going to be looking at where we left off and leading up into how we get to today. Yeah, this is going to happen. So, we left off mid to early 1800s. China, the British are going nuts, right? They're coming in, they're taking over, they want to trade opium. They want to get this sales going on. Really what they want is they want the black tea, right? They want tea, they want goods, they want silk, they want all that stuff from China. China doesn't want anything to do with them, except, they want opium, right? So from 1839 to 1492, a couple things real quick to note. Make sure you do take notes on this. This is the only slide I got going on. And so I just got a bunch of bullet points. So make sure that if you're wanting to have notes on this, make sure you take notes. Should be a quick video though. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes or so. So we got the Opium Wars in 1839 to 1842. Essentially, we have the outside people wanting to trade, and it goes on for a while, and the British just kind of win and annihilate. If you're curious about more detail on the Opium Wars, you should check out Extra Credits on YouTube. They have a great series. I think it's like 4 videos, but it's really interesting about how the wars play out. So you should check that one out. It's really cool. After the Opium Wars goes on, so just a reminder, right? We got the Qing Dynasty. It's the dynasty that's in charge. The Manchus from the north had come over, kicked out the Ming. So one thing you need to remember is there's still a bunch of people in China that are kind of bitter about the Manchus taking over, right? They don't feel like they're the real deal, right? They don't feel like they should be in control. So in 1850, this dude named Hong had this vision at night. He sees God. He believes that he is the brother of Jesus. Yeah, no joke. I'm not making this stuff up. And he says, all right, guys, we need to go and take over China. We need to take it back from the Manchus. So we have this Taiping Revolution. And it goes from 1850 to 1864. And this revolution goes on. Eventually, it is defeated, right? This army from the south comes up, starts heading north. Eventually, it's defeated, but it's defeated because a bunch of localized armies, like these warlords or landlords, are basically, gathering their armies up, and all of these localized armies were able to beat the revolution. And this is important, right? Because it shows that Qing is weak, right? It shows that the Qing dynasty, they couldn't handle it on their own. They needed outside help, right? So then, in 1899, we have this Boxer Rebellion. So, a group of people in the south, in the Kanto region, again, where all the British like to hang out, right? Where all the foreigners like to do their trading. A bunch of these guys, and this is the best part, right? They all practice martial arts. It's a bunch of dudes who are like, all right, we're gonna take you. Let's do this, right? Come on, pow. And so they go out there and they're like, the Western weapons cannot hurt us. We are straight up ninja. We're going to take them down. And so and that's why they're called the Boxers, because there's this whole fighting element to it. And so the Boxer Rebellion of 1899 comes through, and again it gets suppressed, but it gets suppressed with the help of foreigners, right? And so the whole point of this rebellion actually was that they didn't like the foreigners, right? The group of people who were trying to get rid of them, they didn't like the foreigners. They wanted the foreigners out. They wanted to stop having all this outside influence. And so the Qing dynasty had to end it, but they needed the outside help to actually do this. And so it actually promoted the foreign influence in the country. So all of this is leading up to the end of the Qing dynasty in 1911, right? So let's see right here, 1911, the end of the Qing dynasty. So they were already weak, right? The people were not a fan of them. And this guy named Sun Yat-sen came in and says, look, I got some ideas, guys. We're going to go democracy, nationalism. We're going to look out for the workers. And so he actually started this party called the Kuomintang, which was the Nationalist Party. We'll call it the Nationalist Party because I'm afraid I'm going to butcher the name of Kuomintang from here on out. And so he started this Nationalist Party, and they essentially put the end to the Qing dynasty, right? And in this time, then, Sun Yat-sen, he gets to become the new leader, the first elected person of China, but he realizes he's not the majority party, so he believes in his system, and he believes in what he's setting up, and so he actually just resigns to allow Yuan Shikai, I think I mispronounced that as well, sorry, he allows that guy to become in charge. And the guy immediately is like, all right, well, we're going to go back to supreme dictatorship. The people are not having it, though, right? They're like, whoa, we just got rid of all of this, empire system, right? We're done with this dynastic system. And so we have this Warring States period, the sequel. Yep, that's right. We get round 2 of Warring States period, where all of these different warlords that had built up their own individual armies from the Taiping Revolution, over time, they actually broke up into little parts. And so from 1916 to 1928, we have the warlord era. And so it's basically all these little parts of China, totally disunified China. Now, along comes this guy named Chiang Kai-shek, and he was Sun Yat-sen's right-hand man. So in between this time, Sun Yat-sen, he died of cancer, unfortunately. And so he never actually had a chance to see things come live for him. But Cheng, I'm just going to call him Cheng, in 1928, he gathers up an army of nationalist supporters, and he's able to beat the warlords. And so he unifies China again, right? And so now it's Cheng versus the communists, right? So we have another party that's the Communist Party. Now, in order to beat off the warlords and to defeat the warlords, he actually made treaties with the communists. So essentially, and you guys are going to see in a documentary that you're going to watch, Chiang and Mao from the communists and a number of other communist leaders, they have a real on-again, off-again relationship, right? A lot of back and forth going on. And so this is in the 1928 is when it started. And they start, now we can work together. Oh, now we hate each other. We must defeat each other. Now we can work together. Now we must defeat each other. So the next thing we're going to have you guys do is you're going to watch this documentary from PBS. Now, hear me out. It may be a little bit slow, and it may seem a little bit old, but actually it's super interesting, right? We have actual footage that was going on during this time, and we have interviews with people that actually worked for some of these incredible party leaders that shaped the world. And they actually the documentary itself does a good job of showing party leaders from both sides of the aisle. And so we see people with the nationalists, we see people with the communists. And so this documentary is going to break down the on and off again relationship of the nationalists and the communists, and essentially how that impacted them and how the communists eventually, spoiler alert, rose to power. But we're also going to see how Japan's influence during World War II impacted them, and how these outside influences impacted the country as a whole. But we're going to see the rise and fall of Chiang and all that great stuff. All right.